He quit.
Hey, listen, there was
He went to another neighborhood, became a real estate lawyer.
there was
And you end up like Sean Penn. What was that Sean Penn movie? What's that movie?
I don't remember the movie, but I vaguely remember what you're talking about. Hey, listen, John Gotti unfortunately lost a son. He had a little son who was killed in an accident. The kid didn't watch where he was going, and a guy from the neighborhood, guy on the block, was backing up his car, and he rode over the kid and he killed him.
Well, that's the last car he ever drove.
Well, I think he's got cement boots right next to Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, it's the last car he ever drove.
No one ever saw the guy again after that. You know.
Yeah, it's and I don't know.
That's the other crazy thing about the street, though. The street creates a situation where any disrespect, any showing of weakness creates this tension and this overall need to just any little slight that they have to jump on it, and that goes for all street. Like it's all the same, whether you're talking about those guys you're talking about or in Newark or somewhere. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like everything is about not losing face.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one place I'd be afraid.
You can't let anybody get away with anything.
The one place I think I'd be afraid to be in than anywhere is in Chicago. So much.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Chicago, man. If you're not in those particular areas,
it's fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Thriving restaurants, thriving theater, walk around, areas. People catch cabs, places, walk bar to bar. All of that. High rises, expensive places.
Of course.
All of that exists right next to that little area on the south side or a little bit on the west side to where it is the way it is. And historically, that's what Chicago's always been, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
You go back to
you go back
there, it's the same.
Go back to organized crime. Yeah, organized crime.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, like in New York,
Chicago has never been able to employ enough people, and they've always had a huge section of the underworld.
Yeah.
Always.
You go to New York, years ago, Harlem was really bad also. I remember I used to...
Not at the turn of the century.
No, look, when I was driving a cab in the 70s, I got conned by a couple of kids, and I drove them into Harlem. When I got to Harlem and I dropped them off, they didn't pay their fare, they ran off. A cop came to escort me out of the neighborhood.
Hey, listen,
that was a yellow cab, He said, you don't belong here. But now you're going to Harlem, beautiful restaurants. Clinton
they're trying to gentrify.
Clinton has his offices on 125th Street.
Yeah.
No, it's some of the best restaurants.
And it goes to show all it takes to fix any area is real investment and real opportunity for people, and any area will change. But if you don't do that and you just allow it to rot and fester, then it'll be what it is. That's why poverty is so generational in the urban areas and in the trailer parks and in the barrios, because all of those areas lack investment.
Yeah. Plus, I hate to say people do to themselves, especially what I see is...
I understand that. I understand the thinking of people do it to themselves, but what I'm saying is, if everything is there for you not to succeed, then you're talking about people having to basically roll a 7. You know what I mean? Every day to be perfect. And it's like, that's just not realistic that the majority of people are going to be able to roll a 7 and jump past all those obstacles.
No, what I was going to talk about is a lot of the Hispanics that come in 2 generations and they still don't speak English. And they're still doing
but if where you work doesn't require you to speak English and you're hanging around, people who speak your language, and that's where you stay in that little box, then no, you won't be really required to do it.
I know.
Then you start looking at the life expectancy of some of these construction workers, these Latino guys. Some of these guys aren't making it to 55, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. What I'm saying, but you don't. But you take the Chinese who also will live in their own neighborhoods. and speak their own language, but most of them do much better for some reason.
Well, talk to them about
they also have a different work.
Crime they got.
Oh, they got their own little.
They also have a different work ethic. I mean, they're open 7 days a week. 10, 12 hours a day. Okay.
Look, man,
and they also,
y'all, man, because people really miss this. We see the businesses and we see the people who flourish. What we don't see is the service workers who are living above the business, who stay there 30 years and die alone, and the women who are being abused, working 16 hours a day in nail shops and all these different things with no equity in the business, and the ones who are being pushed into prostitution through these massage parlors and all this other stuff. Every cultural group in America has an ugly underside.
Absolutely.
Some are able to hide it better because of smaller numbers. That's the only difference.
I think I met my first wife in one of those massage parlors. I think I did. Now that you mention it, yeah.
No, but it's terrible. You're absolutely right. There is. I hate to say it this way. There's dirt and filth everywhere.
He just pushed that bill to where it's going to be $1 billion for research and help with people who are addicted to heroin, crystal meth, and all these other things. And these are white. This is going on in white communities. There's no outrage about heroin or people really trying to help. There's people calling them junkies and not willing to help them. So now they got this bill passed, and rehab centers are going to make a lot of money. Are they going to save these kids? I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like, that's going on right now, and nobody talks about it because people don't care about poor white people.
Well, back in the day, they used to have like Phoenix House. Back in the '60s, they used to open up, and then they had the methadone clinics.
Right.
Well, a lot of Europe. There is no drug trade. The government controls the drugs, and they hand out drugs free to anybody who wants it. They just have to go in the clinic and take the drugs at the clinic, and then leave. They can go.
It's a more adult way to handle it. Yeah, it takes away the violence, the street violence over the control of the trade.
Yeah,
I remember
they're doing a better job.
Yeah, they are. There's no violence because of drugs. There's no drug dealers.
Back in the early '80s, when
there's no tunnels being built,
when AIDS first came upon the scene and made the news, they were talking about giving away clean needles because one of the ways that AIDS was spread was you'd have junkies using the same dirty needles. It wasn't just a gay disease, and of course, then you get your ministers and reverends and yelling and screaming on Sundays and saying that's God's punishment for homosexuality and drugs.
Right.
Until this.
And it gets real deep when you say what is a drug. That's when it gets real deep. Dr. Carl Hart, the great pharmaceutical, what do you call it? I can't think of what his full title is, but he's kind of the authority on drugs in America, and he talks about this a lot because he's like, look, caffeine is a drug, sugar's a drug. All of us on this line, think if you gave up sugar for 2 weeks, like most people can't do it. Most people need that first cup of coffee in the morning. Like, we get addicted to all kinds of things, but we designated certain plants as immoral, illegal, and the scourge of humanity. And it's like, nah, man, some people just dealing with emotional trauma, and their way of doing it is getting high. And we'd be better served if we studied it, told them how to take a healthy dosage and not harm themselves, and just handled it in a more adult way. Because people are gonna do drugs. There's never been a drugless society.
Well, because there are acceptable addictions. Alcohol, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people who used to go to work and at 9 o'clock in the morning and they're half drunk already before the day even starts. But like you say, caffeine and other things. And what about prescription drugs? You get
right.
Michael Jackson and Prince. They OD'd
Yep.
on prescription drugs. Nothing was illegal. It was stuff that they had.
Yeah, how about cigarettes?
Cigarettes is another one.
Yeah.
I mean, they kill. It kills people. Probably kills people more than
Yeah.
more than marijuana, more than a lot of drugs do. And it's visible, you
Marijuana's
know.
never killed anybody. Like there's no study that's ever been done that shows marijuana can kill you alone.
Yeah, when I say kill somebody,
Anybody you
maybe.
find with lung cancer, well, you find out that they smoke cigarettes as well. Like all of the cases that they found, and they haven't found a case where marijuana just killed somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
The only way that somebody gets killed if they get their car accident or something, which happens sometimes. But that's just anybody that gets DWI, gets in the car accident, and get killed or cause of death. But otherwise, no, marijuana.
Yeah.
Is, and probably
but I would push back on that and say marijuana more than likely is going to make you get into some kind of slow car accident because you're driving slow, paranoid, not really pushing the meter. But somebody drinking, hell, we know that story.
Yeah.
Drinking and driving, we know that story.
Yeah, marijuana, you get pulled over for slowing down traffic.
Right. And dude, what are you doing? You've been sitting there 5 minutes. And I think they're coming up with some interesting things in Colorado about testing people for driving under the influence of marijuana. So I think we'll have a much better perspective on that in a few years. Because they're really looking at that there. They're stopping people if they think you're under the influence.
Yeah.
So,
You got to phone it in.
And you're right.
right now?
No. We're just talking. We're just gonna. We normally play a song now for My Pluggers. It's one of the things that we represent.
I got to catch my breath. You got me talking so much.
No, but we it's an organization that plugs new artists, and we play one or two songs of theirs a night. And the one I'm going to play tonight, you might like it. It's interesting. They got quite a bit of interesting music. It's a new song. The name is Anne May. The name of the song is The Dark Side. And it's actually the singer's from the Netherlands. I have no idea where they cut the record, but could be the United States. But I'm going to go ahead and play it. It's about 3 minutes. Let me know what you think of it. It's a little different.